So let's say you have about 200 grand to spend and you think, I don't really fancy going on the racetrack every day, I just want a little bit more comfort. Well, McLaren now has the McLaren GT for you, their first Grand Tourer, supposed to be a little bit more suitable for everyday driving life, as far as it goes for a super sports car. We'll find out more about that today here on Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars. With Thomas in front of the camera and Michelle behind the camera, and everything of that in Full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go! In the front you still do have this very typical McLaren shape, which goes back to their very early models. So really sporty and has this drop design, like a raindrop, very beautiful. Very slim headlamps, LED daytime running light, and also the main headlamp unit is LED, and optional, which is also built in here, you get the adaptive LED, which then also go alongside with the steering wheel, that you can have a better illumination also when you are in the corners actually. Special thing here with the McLaren GT is it's more suitable for basement garage ramps and so on. So the ground clearance is then between 11 and 13 centimeters. 13 then when you are in this lift mode, so you can lift the car a little bit higher when you have a very steep ramp up to your basement garage also. And the approaching angle then is between 10 and 13 degrees again in this lift mode, so it makes it indeed more suitable than for some situations you might face. 4,68 m, 15'4" or 184 inches is the length of the McLaren GT, and that's indeed a little bit longer than the other McLaren models. So of course they want to a little bit offer more trunk space, also more trunk length, that you can actually also put skiing equipment in there. Yeah, if you really liked so, well, more to that later. Here now, what's also special is the wheels. The biggest ones yet for McLaren, 20-inch in the front and 21-inch in the rear. And you can also see the difference then in the size. That looks very interesting. Comfort-wise, of course, this car is supposed to be more comfortable. And if you put bigger wheels on it, that's less comfort. However, since this suspension here is more comfortable than the other ones, it allows them actually to put bigger wheels on there. Yeah, I mean, they did it also that it has more special look, and of course it's more like, more urban in the style, so to say. And indeed it looks a little bit less aggressive than the other McLaren models, a little bit more elegant, a little bit more sophisticated. However, still those big air intakes for the midship engine concept, that's of course pretty cool, and those air outtakes, honeycomb structure, wow. Yeah, it's a little bit warm here still. And then another air intake right here. So beautiful sporty design elements and this huge glass panel. There are also different roofs available. You can get a fixed one. You can actually get a glass roof just to look through with some, coating. And then also a special coating where you can actually look through or don't look through. We know that, for example, from a Mercedes SL or something, so you have different options as for that. So it would be interesting then, in your opinion, what do you think about here the GT, also if you compare it to other super sports cars. In the rear, beautiful horizontal stress with very slim tail lamps, but I think that's also pretty elegant. Still you have the typical McLaren style, then huge exhaust pipes here, but like an assortment of different rings on the inside, very interesting. And technology-wise, by the way, it's always very interesting. They still keep it up here also with the GT model with their carbon fiber core that brings down the weight of the car, and then aluminum all around. So just about 1,500 kilograms or less than 3,400 pounds. And since we cannot open any engine hood, servicing is done from below. Let's talk about the engine already right now. It's a 4-liter V8 bi-turbo with 620 horsepower. Acceleration figures, to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour is just about 3 seconds, 3.2 official, and even more important than in this case, to 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles is 9 seconds. Yeah, that's usually with normal cars to 100. Yeah, so you won't lack any power here with the, let's say, more sophisticated GT version. As for the luggage, let's first check the frunk. So you have 2 buttons here on the key. So the frunk, right here, we also have some luggage in there. So that's 150 liters, and the height here on the lower end side is about 40 centimeters. So, you know, it's like, you know, Porsche 911 or something. So it is actually quite well usable, no problem. And then most special here for the GT, you can have the second one here, and the rear hatch is also available all electric, as you can see right here. And wow, that's really very long. And the surface you see here is a special new thing. It's called super fabric, and it's a very durable fabric. It's soft on one hand, but also, you know, rugged and durable. So cool idea, and I like to see more of that in the interior. And the funny thing here is really that, I mean, this is really long. I mean, it's this is here 1.70 meters to this bar. So I mean, it's not that high, but you can put very long things in there, or then, you know, secure it here with those belts, or put it here in this net. Maybe not the most practical thing, but at least you have, you know, 2 areas where you can put things in. Very interesting here, you know, for some fluids here, right and left, you know, oil and water. But other than that, as I said, servicing is done from below. Yeah, very interesting, and you should secure this, you know, very tightly, everything that is in there, because remember, this car has a top speed of 200 miles per hour or 326 kilometers per hour. And if you have this option here for the electric tailgate, you can also close it electrically. Again, standard would be manual, but of course with this long tailgate, it's good to have it also with the electric option. Now to the interior, it's really interesting. You push this one a little bit inward, then it comes out, and you see it also has a soft close function, you know. That's pretty nice. So again, like this, and then the windows open like this. Ta-da! Magic. Pretty cool. Optional Bowers & Wilkins sound system, 12 speakers. The standard one has less speakers, but of course it's good to go for that one. Then there are different interior trims available. I would advise to go for the Pioneer trim. That one then includes more Alcantara. This one here all about the animal skin. Also not a good idea here to put it on the side, of course, you know, of this monocoque. So the more Alcantara trim is of course more sporty and also a little bit more comfortable. Here in the red color, also different colors are available. Steering wheel also in a very typical shape. Nice aluminum accentuations there, or the style. And then those stalk columns here in a sporty curved style as well. In the front, you can also open the front and the trunk, for example. We're soon going more in depth on all the other details. And here, for example, good idea to get in is like this, with your back first, and then move your legs like this, and then you can fit in here actually quite well. I'm 1.86 or 6'1", you know that. And then it still leaves some headroom right there. This is the fixed roof at the moment, but again, 2 optional look-through roofs are also available. And yeah, it's a very sporty position, definitely. The seat control is here a little bit hidden on the right side, so not here on the left side, on the right side, and then you can electronically control the seats. Need to put the ignition on for that. New 12.3-inch screen, that's pretty cool. Has a good visualization for different stuff, and I actually think the best thing of that, turn on the engine for that, yeah, always nice. So when you put in reverse gear, then you have the reverse camera directly here in the screen with a good resolution, and that's actually pretty nice. Other than that, when you put in the D mode, then it dissolves after a while. It also has those helping lines, and here you can see, and you know, I can also put it to neutral, and then we can also, you know, here rev it up just a little bit. Here again in the interior overview, first of all here the steering wheel, again with a nice grip, then clicking sounds here from those shifters, and you see here it has an effect when I put the plus in, I also have an effect on the minus, you know, and vice versa, so they're not separate completely. Electric steering wheel control, and then this one here is a 7-inch small vertical screen. You connect your phone via Bluetooth only. CarPlay and Android Auto are not available yet. And GPS looks like this. Everything, let's say, is pretty much basic. You can use the GPS, is actually no problem, yes, but again, the smartphone integration would be a little bit better. Temperature control is then here, like this, also via touch. But you can also, for example, use this one here. This is the volume knob. Still good to have this one manually available. And everything is wrapped tightly as for the whole design. This middle console is interesting with starting the engine, and then usually everything is set to the comfort mode, but when you put this one here to active, then you can change suspension, comfort, sport and track. The same goes for the powertrain, comfort, sport or track, depending on how aggressive you want the car to have. Launch control button, and to put in the gears, you have it here for neutral, driving or reverse. And then you have some cup holders right here, and this is a middle armrest with some more stuff, you know, with a connection there for the smartphone, and also some it directly fits, you know, with the iPhone X here, size-wise. That works. And last but not least, when you look at here in the front, there's more space, for example, for, you know, shallow bottles or something. And next to this fancy McLaren logo, here there's this, let's say, touch field, which opens the tiny glove box. By the way, one more detail shot. What's cool, that the map here is more responsive than before in some other earlier models. And also this is a matte display. It doesn't have this shiny glossy surface. And so when it's matte, it's also better that it doesn't catch so many reflections. So guys, want to see some acceleration? Welcome. We won't do launch control. It is possible, yes, but it's really cold outside and the tires are not that warm, so there might be some spin. So I'm not, you know, I'm doing like a slightly rolling start, but you'll see everything of that full acceleration anyway. So we'll wait till the next car, and I would just say, enjoy, guys. Okay, that was 250 kilometers now. So, yeah. I don't know. I mean, like the on this like part, there was we had the Nissan GT-R. That was pretty spectacular, but not sure if we could. Did we ever reach 250 on this? And I think not, right? So that might have been a new record. I don't know. Yeah, about this McLaren GT being like this friendly version, not that sporty, more everyday driving life suitable. Yeah, maybe we'll also come to a city driving part later, but I don't think we missed any sportiness or acceleration or something. Yeah, that was quite impressive, definitely. Wait a minute, isn't there a tunnel coming? Yes, I mean, it has some better noise insulation, so in those other rougher McLaren models you do hear more from the sound, but I think we will still hear something else. Yeah, Michelle can put the window down. Yeah, that's enough. Don't open the door. Yeah, the door opener is next to the window opener, but I think it should have a security function. Should it? Not sure. I want to test it. Not here. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So if you want, the sound is still there, no problem. Yeah, and I think this 4-liter V8 bi-turbo, definitely enough performance, so you won't miss anything of that. Then with the nice shifting pedals, always a great clicking sound. And I like that they are connected to the steering wheel actually. So, you know, there are cars like especially with the Italian vehicles where they are not connected to the steering wheel but fixed here. Some say that is better. I more like it directly at the steering wheel. And the interesting thing is also this lightweight car with its great handling. I mean, you don't feel the speed, especially not in the corners. So corner speed is totally dissolving. You know, when you usually would drive this corner here like with 80 kilometers with a normal car, it was like, oh my god, I need to reduce the speed, and you're like, oh. This is like such an easy task for this car then here. And I mean, at the same time, I left it also in the comfort mode as for suspension settings. So yeah, that's actually a little bit more comfortable. And also, if I remember, like with the was it the 4C? So one of the very early McLaren reviews we were doing a couple of years ago, and you know, just when you leave the brakes and the car rolls forward, you feel like, wow, I need to attack the racetrack now. And here it's a little bit more subtle, and I like that, you know. So there's a little bit more power on demand, so to say, you know. Just when you want it, you can, you know, fine tune it a little bit better. And of course, when you're just, you know, driving around in town and so on, everyone is looking, you know, like also all the neighbors and stuff like what the hell is this? So, and that's of course always special then with the supercars. And if you leave it in comfort mode, it's also okay, as we know, the electronic stability system, it keeps it also quite in check. So, you know, like one of those very extreme supercars, it's not that easy to drive it every day. But here, even if you're not like the most experienced supercar owner, I think it's also like a good entry-level super sports car. You know, you can get it for less than 200k, and it's not that you need so much supercar driving experience. If you're just a little bit gentle with throttle and, you know, don't put all settings in the track mode, then you can still, you know, get along with it very, very well. And for example, also have some fun, you know, you always wait for the next traffic light to turn green. You can have some more fun. So I have the suspension setting in comfort and the powertrain set to sports. That's, you know, a good balanced setting. So sports mode, we have a little bit more from the exhaust. Track mode with maybe a little bit too extreme for those temperatures here, again low temperatures, and we're also away with summer tires, so we can only take this car out when it's like really nice weather. That's so flawless, and also the handling here in the corner feels like it's nothing. So also this McLaren GT definitely belongs to the track, is, you know, no doubt about that. You can attack any F1 track in the world with that one and you wouldn't lack anything. But yet again, I think it is a little bit more suitable for the driving life. Once more in a tunnel then, and then another accelerating out, and then we come to another more agile driving part, and the last part for today will be some city driving, at least in our you know, in our long version on Autogefühl. Yeah. Autogefühl and Autogefühl, okay, of course, are two channels. So here we let us drop behind a little bit again, so that you can hear how it sounds when the window is closed. So when I shift up, then I see like one of those no stability control indicators, you know. So because in the moment where you shift up, then the power sets in again. You know, there might be some spin even when all the electronic helpers are set in. So definitely very spectacular. And also by itself, the car tends to shift up, you know, quite early then. That's also totally okay for this car. But the kickdown with this 7-speed dual clutch transmission is also easily done. Yeah, that was... Where are we? Have we traveled back in time? Where are we, Doc? Yeah, sometimes you ask yourself and like, what year is it now? And definitely very stable here also at higher speeds. You do feel that the front axle is giving you some serious feedback from the road. So, you know, a lot of the modern cars, they just let you control it from the steering wheel. But here also, when there are some uneven parts on the road, the steering wheel moves itself, you know. And that's typical that you get some more feedback. So, now we reduce speed. Get off the motorway here. And head on to some more agile driving part. Yeah. Always guarantees a lot of adrenaline rush here, definitely on the motorways. Again, where we are allowed to drive that fast, we really obey the speed limits, because I mean, for me, like you know, with a car reviewer, it's like with a taxi driving. You know, if I lose my driving license, I basically lose my job. So always safety and rules first. And now a little agile driving up the hill. Why not? Flawless agility, really nice. But again, not too extreme. That's where this, you know, that's what this GT stands for. Always have to be careful with some wet leaves on the road here. Then again, here, for example, back to the comfort mode. Not annoying the neighbors here and so on. Not too extreme also from the sound then. So that's actually quite cool. Shifting up and so on. Then I can go back to the sports powertrain mode. As soon as the next houses are gone, you can maybe shift back again, then have some, you know, a little bit more fun again. That's what indeed this car stands for, that you can have both, you know. So it's like a respectful super sports car. And one good quote by Michel was that he was just telling me like, you lose the feeling for speed with this vehicle. I can just confirm that. Like, wow. Yeah. So flawless and precise also in the steering. Let's see like this. Yeah, a little bit moving over the front axle. Wow. Really flawless and a lot of fun. And I really have to say, I like this gentleman super sports car. You know, this is definitely a new concept. So it's not that you don't have the typical McLaren feeling anymore. It is still unmistakably a McLaren, but again, the gentleman among the McLaren model lineup, and I think that's pretty cool. The only thing I have to say, you know, yeah, you know, like with more comfortable seats, I'm not sure about that. So seating wise, might be a personal thing, but I would have liked, like, you know, a little bit better upgrade comfort wise there, you know, as for just for the seats. Other than that, I think the new comfort features do work, and you still have the rocket anywhere when you need it. City driving now. Yeah. So it's a McLaren GT, so supposed to give us more comfort in city driving. And well, the thing is, mentioned it earlier already, so what you also feel here is it is indeed more silent, so you don't feel that much, you know, extremeness like from the engine and so on. So the noise insulation is better. You don't feel everything that crisp as in the sportier models, and that's totally fine, because that's a little bit more relaxing. Also, you know, seating position, and also the riding height, you know. So it's not telling you all the time, supercar, 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 extreme supercar, but just once, supercar. So you do feel you are in a supercar, but it's not that it would be super much exaggerated, especially because it has this higher riding height. you feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more comfortable, then again, because a little bit more silent. So I really think that it is more suitable for city driving and so on, as far as it goes, you know, for this vehicle segment, definitely. And the steering is actually quite light and easy to control, but yet again, it also gives you a good feeling, also when you're in the city. The suspension is an adaptive one. It gives you also a little bit more comfort than the other ones, so not all the bumps are directly transported to your spine, and I would also just leave it indeed on the comfort mode all the time. With the powertrain, you can either leave it with comfort, that also when you are at higher speeds, the exhaust valves are closed, for example, for better noise comfort, but you can also put it to sports then for the powertrain, that you have a little bit more punch also when driving in the city, and if you want a little bit louder. So you can start it like comfort, or leave it in the normal mode without those special gauges, and it's also always comfort. And so if you like your neighbors and start the car in the morning, you leave it with comfort, and if you hate your neighbors, you put it to sports and then start the car. So, but it's good that you actually have the choice, you know. But I mean, suspension-wise, the car is always sporty enough, no doubt about that. So you won't miss so much sportiness. It's just the difference. If you want a more extreme feeling, you know, then you would probably not go for the GT, but for one of the other model series or something. But for all other purposes, if you really buy this car also to, you know, not to put it to the museum or just to your garage and look at it, but really if you buy this car to drive it, I really have to say it's more relaxing. So yeah, overall I think a very positive step, because, you know, after all, I think you would buy this car also to drive it, won't you? You know, so it would be a waste not to drive it, wouldn't it? As for the overview, by the way, I mean, there's this huge glass panel in the back, so you can actually have a decent view to the rear. Yeah, also to the sides. Yeah, it's always cool to have the mirrors set up in a way that you do look at those air intake vents. So that's definitely very special. Yeah, pretty cool, definitely. So the overview is actually not too bad. Also, you know, to the front, because it always has this very flat hood in the front there. I mean, yeah, if the road is a little bit damaged or something, you do feel it. But again, due to this adaptive suspension, which is not set on the stiffest note, it's not that you know, get, you know, very annoying back pain by that or something. Yeah, you can also set a little bit stiffer, but again, I think it doesn't make so much sense then. And it's like when you do like 0 to 50 kilometers, it's just like zip, and that's it always. And yeah, that definitely brings some joy. Nevertheless, you can also drive this car more or less with a, you know, without an extreme fuel economy. So 14 liters on 100 kilometers would be possible. That's like 17 mpg or 20 mpg UK. So yeah, of course, I mean, what do you expect? But yet again, it's a light car, like those 1,500 kilograms or 3,300 pounds. So, and you also do feel that, you know, it is not a short car, but definitely, you know, when you steer it around a little bit, you feel this lightweight building style, and that's also what makes it so special. You know, also with, you know, with a carbon fiber core and so on. So definitely something special in everyday driving life, but I found it really more suitable than the other series for, you know, your normal city driving, because, you know, with the normal McLarens, you know, you're always, you know, more tempted. That can be a thing you seek, but that can be a thing where you say, you know, when I drive it like in town or whatever, I don't want to be so much tempted all the time. The difference is here is you do the temptation yourself, you know, so the car does not tempt you all the time, but when you want it, I mean, you can do anything at any time anyway, so just shift back. There you go. Yeah, Michelle has a lot of fun today, definitely, and especially, you know, when just using the shifting pedals here. they give you a very nice feedback, like this clicking sound then. But then you can also put it to a higher gear and again cruise some more on the motorway, like with 100 kilometers or 60 miles an hour. And I mean, we had more silent cars, but among the McLaren vehicles, this one is definitely the most silent so far, and that's also what they intended to achieve, and indeed they did achieve that. So, is it a Grand Tourer? I mean, that's of course a matter of definition, definitely. It wouldn't be my primary pick when I say like I want to do a 10-hour road trip or something. But indeed, some motorway runs is okay. So this guy behind me really wants to, really? I mean, driving faster than allowed this year, which I'm not doing. Just, you know, little say hello. Maybe he'll meet the next police control and then we'll meet again. Pretty daring, you know, to bully McLaren and drive like this distance behind the McLaren. It's like, you know, some people won't learn. But that's the thing also with this car, especially with the GT. I mean, you don't do boy races, you know. You're sophisticated enough to say, you know, I'm an English gentleman driving a supercar. I don't need that, you know. It's not necessary. So I drive fast when it's allowed, and I also relax my ride here, cruising along when it's not allowed, you know. So yeah. You can also use the cruise control, by the way. No, that was the hub. So yeah, there's a limiter available, for example. So you know, McLaren is not about assistance systems, or there's also no blind spot monitor available yet, but that might be a good addition or something. But of course, they're also evolving, you know, in this respect. Interesting, by the way, that because the car is so low, you know, in supercar sports car style, I just have to raise my head a little bit, and then I have also protection against the sun. That's also interesting. I mean, you also hear that I do have to raise my voice just a little bit, definitely. Not only because of the engine, but also indeed because of the, you know, wind noise and so on. But again, any McLaren driven so far was definitely louder. And the cool thing is really, you know, when you leave it all in comfort, you can have it more or less silent also on the motorway. And that's also relaxing because, you know, you won't be on the racetrack anytime. And indeed, especially McLaren customers, they don't tend to go on the racetrack every day. So I think that's also a cool decision. So very interesting driving part here also as for the normal city and motorway life here with the McLaren GT. And now to our conclusion for today with the all-new McLaren GT. And of course, always so unique to have those wing doors. I mean, if they make sense or not, you can discuss it all day long. But they're just super cool, aren't they? Yeah, and of course, you know, it's the same for the McLaren. No one needs a McLaren, that's clear. But it's also somehow cool. So, and I think the approach to make a supercar, let's say, more approachable, more suitable to everyday driving life makes sense because, I mean, at the end of the day, why would you buy such a car? It would be a waste just to put it to a museum. It's also good that you really can put this one out to the road, that everyone can also see it. And then it's also good that it just delivers you a little bit more comfort. And indeed, hardly anyone of those supercar customers really drive those ones out on the racetrack. So it makes sense to make them more suitable for more comfort. Just from the visual, I think it's even my favorite one now in the McLaren model lineup. It looks a little bit more elegant, a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit less aggressive, but that's also what the car stands for, you know. I said it's somehow the gentleman's supercar, you know. You can access all this power if you like, but it doesn't tell you to access the power all the time. And I think that's actually a quite good mix. Interior-wise, they also upgraded the build quality. That's also nice. Infotainment system-wise, of course, we would like to have a smartphone connectivity feature, a real one, like the Apple CarPlay Android Auto. That's surely missing, definitely. Maybe also some more assistance systems, if you think about that. Yes, I think it does make sense also for a car like this. and of course even more animal-friendly materials, you can go for this Alcantara option. And they also show this new super fabric for the trunk, so they're also moving in this direction. It would be good if they upgrade the offerings in this case then. Comfort-wise, the only thing is missing, I think, is the seating comfort. So yes, they do get some special seats here, but to me it was not that suitable. Suspension-wise it was better, noise insulation-wise it was better, but the seat form itself, I think they could upgrade that a little bit, maybe with a little thicker cushion or something like that. And of course, if you use some fabric or Alcantara, this will also help them to give you a little bit better comfort in driving. So those are my thoughts for today. Please leave your comments here in our sections, and I hope you really enjoyed this special treat for you today. See you next time.